Howdy, friends. It's Steve Depoe, Realtor and Advisor with the Rose Realty Team. Today's Texas real estate question: what should you expect at the closing table? You've done the hard part: showings, offers, inspections. Now it's time for the finish line, the closing table. But what actually happens there? Stick around and I'll walk you through it so you know exactly what to expect. You've made it through listing your home, accepting an offer, and navigating inspections and appraisals. Now it all comes down to one final event, the closing table, and today I'm breaking down exactly what you should expect when it's time to close the sale of your home. First, let me say this closing isn't just a formality. It's where the money changes hands, the documents get signed, and ownership is officially transferred. It's exciting, but it's also where many sellers feel a little unsure. That's why preparation matters. So what happens when you walk into closing day? In Denton County, most closings happen at a title company. You'll usually be seated across from a closing officer or escrow agent. They're there to facilitate the final steps and ensure both parties, the buyer and you, complete everything required for the sale. Now, if you're selling remotely, don't worry. A mobile notary can come to you, or you can pre-sign everything a few days in advance. But whether you're in person or virtual, the process is pretty much the same. You'll be reviewing and signing documents like the settlement statement, which outlines all the financial sales price, fees, commissions, taxes, and your net proceeds. You'll also sign a deed transferring ownership to the buyer. And depending on the situation, there may be a few additional forms for things like HOA documents. One of the biggest questions we get is this: when do I get my money? Great question. If everything is in order, funds are usually wired into your account the same day, sometimes within a few hours. In Texas, we operate on what's called a wet funding state, which means money isn't released until all documents are signed and recorded. But once that happens, your proceeds are on their way. Now, let's talk keys. If you're still living in the home, you may have arranged a temporary leaseback, giving you a few days after closing to move out. Otherwise, keys are handed over at the closing table, and the buyer gets access to their new home immediately after funding. One pro tip: bring 2 forms of ID to closing, a driver's license and a passport, for example. And if there's more than one person on the deed, like a spouse or co-owner, they'll need to sign too, either in person or through a power of attorney. The closing table isn't just the end of your home selling journey. It's the last step in a series of well-coordinated actions designed to protect you and the buyer. When done right, it's smooth, professional, and even a little celebratory. That's what we aim for with every client we work with here in Denton County. We'll help you navigate the entire process and make sure you're confident every step of the way, including closing day. So if you're thinking about selling, or you're already on your way and want to avoid last-minute surprises, give us a call. We've helped hundreds of sellers across Denton County close with confidence, and we'd love to help you do the same. Thank you for joining. I hope to see you next week for our next installment of Texas Real Estate Questions. Wait 2 seconds for our contact information.